Yo, what is going on guys? Camps TV here, and today I want to talk about the absolute best comps for TFT patch 10.1. As you may already know, the new patch brought along new champs, new synergies, new items, as well as a bunch of buffs and nerfs, which brought some old comps out of the meta and brought in some new ones. After looking at the comps the top players in each region are running, I'm glad to present to you this guide on the best comps that patch 10.1 has to offer. So without further ado, let's get right into it. With this new patch, it brought a lot of changes to comps we know and love from last patch. Gone are the days of the Nocturne Blademaster comp we grew to know as Blender, and in its place comes the Sivir Friends comp. This comp is extremely similar to the old Blender comp, but instead of making Nocturne a Blademaster, we give the BM spat to Azir. You still want to run Yasuo, Aatrox, and Sivir, itemizing your Sivir and Azir and then giving any leftover items to Yorick. The items you want to run on Sivir are Runins, IE, and Hush or Red Buff if you aren't able to make a Hush. On Azir, you're going to be looking for the BM Spat, Shojin, Death Cap, IE, Spell Crit, or any other defensive items in its place. This comp is extremely flexible, so don't worry if you can't get a spatula for whatever reason. You can still go forward Blademasters by putting in Master Yi late game if you aren't able to turn your Azir into a Blademaster. The important thing with this comp is to have 4 Blademasters, and everything else can be adjusted as the situation sees fit. The most popular variant of this comp is the one that includes Yorick, as he is probably one of the most broken units in the game. Late game at level 8, you can put in Janna for Cloud Buff and Mystic, or run Soraka for the light Mystic variant. If the lobby has a lot of physical damage, you can put in Wardens instead of Yorick, Annie, and Karma to negate some of that physical damage, but make sure you scout around first to make sure that is the right decision. Some early signs that you should go for this comp is if you get a spat early on, you get lots of bows from creeps, or if you hit an early Azir or Sivir. This by far is the most contested comp this patch, so be aware of what your opponents are going so you don't run into any issues when rolling it down. This next comp is incredibly strong and also very contested. This patch brought along a much needed buff to most of the individual light units as well as a buff to the synergy, making 6 lights a powerhouse of a synergy. With this comp, it's absolutely important that you build a Guardian Angel for your Senna, as she is the cornerstone for making this comp work. Building GA on Senna allows you to frontline your Lucian to proc the Soulbound synergy. By frontlining and sacrificing your Lucian, he becomes an untargetable beast, which allows him to pump out major DPS into the enemy team. Giant Slayer, Last Whisper, IE, or Hush are all very viable items on your Lucian. You can make Vayne the placeholder for your Lucian items in the early game, and hitting a light spat allows for some interesting comps and transitions, as well as getting 6 lights online much earlier. The items you want to focus on for Senna are GA, Morellos, and either the light spat or some sort of mana item. As always, any leftover items go to your Yorick. I cannot stress enough how important having GA for Senna is in this comp. I've seen so many people try this comp without having GA for Senna, just to end up going for a quick 8th place, so learn from their mistakes and don't let it happen to you. Some early signs that you should go for this comp are as follows. You get an early GA, early Yorick or Lucian, or you hit a 2-star Senna and a light spat. Any of those conditions will do the trick. This next comp has been popular last patch and it looks like it's still S tier this patch. This 6 Zerker poison comp utilizes the tankiness and the AoE cone damage of the Berserker synergy, as well as the poison synergy to counter those late game casters. With this comp, it is fairly simple to play, as you just run Volley and Ornn to carry the early game, then at 6 you play 6 Zerkers. At level 7, you can add Kha'Zix for Desert, and at level 8 you can replace Kha'Zix with Singe and Twitch to have the poison synergy. If you have a Zerker spat, you can give it to Kha'Zix to replace one of your other Zerkers. The unit you want to itemize in your comp is Olaf. In EU, it is more popular to itemize him with Last Whisper and IE, while in NA, you are more likely to see RFC and Hush, with the last item usually being a defensive item such as Dragon Claw or GA. You also want to stack either your Volibear or Scion with double Locket or Zerks to make them tankier and super hard to kill. Don't forget a Morellos for your Singed and you're all set to go. This comp is pretty straightforward and much easier to pull off due to the lack of having to have a real transition. Go this route if you hit an early volley, Ornn, have a Locket, or if you just hit a bunch of the 3-cost Zerkers. This last comp is a comp that can be traced back to set 1 and has recently seen the light of day thanks to the streamer H2211 Games. This H2 comp consists of hitting a 3-star Veigar and pairing it with 6 mages and 4 ocean. Having this 3-star Veigar with 6 mage synergy allows it to double cast and one-shot 2 enemy units, while the ocean synergy keeps giving passive mana, allowing you to become a one-shot monster. This comp is very RNG heavy because if Veigar doesn't snipe the right units, it could result in a hefty loss, but nonetheless it is incredibly fun to watch and very effective. The items you want to have to make this comp shine are Shojins, Seraphs, GA, as well as a Mage Spat if possible to get the 6 Mage Synergy online earlier, although it isn't really needed. If you get lucky enough, you want to try to fit in an Ocean Lux at level 9 to get the 6 Ocean Synergy online. This comp seems very uncontested, so feel free to go this route. If you're on the Ocean map, you get a bunch of Tiers, or if you high roll a bunch of Veigars. Before we go, I just want to give a quick mention to 2 other comps that are seeing some success so far, but I'm not totally convinced they're amazing. The first comp is the Ranger Wardens, where you run 4 Rangers, making Twitch to carry with double IE and Runins. You can either run 4 Wardens or the Poison variant depending on what you run into in your lobby. The new buff to Twitch made him pretty decent, and I can see this comp being pretty good if you hit the right items, but from what I've seen so far, it's either you place in the top 4 or you're last place, and I have yet to see this comp win a lobby. The other comp I want to give a quick mention to is Electric Lunar Wardens. This is a high roll comp as you need to hit Z2 and maybe even an Electric Lux to get the 4 Electric Synergy, but if you are lucky enough to hit the Lux, then consider giving this comp a try as it is incredibly hard to beat. And there you have it folks, this has been a guide on the best challenger comps for TFT patch 10.1. Making this guide has really helped me out in my games, and I really hope it helps you out too. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like on it as it really does help out the channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and leave the bell icon on to get notified when a new video comes out. As always, you can find me streaming over at twitch.tv/campstv_ or click the link in the description below. For all your insider info, tips, and tricks, this is CampsTV signing off. Until next time, adios amigos.